This is Iron Man 2 Marvel Select Borders exclusive Mark IV armor. It comes in it's a 7-inch scale figure. It comes with a huge base. It's got just magnificent paint job on it, and it is a wonderfully sculpted figure. I like it. I personally like this figure. If you're in Manila and you're wondering where I got him, I got him at Artoys. A lot of reviewers have really been bashing this figure. It's been getting a lot of negative reviews here and there, but I personally think that the pros outweigh the cons with this particular figure. So let's discuss each of the details of the figure and sort of talk about the negative comments of some reviewers as we go with each of the features. So let's begin with the base. The base is a repaint of the War Machine base, or it is the same backdrop with this, I think, a metallic door, which has just been painted over with silver. Not jumping out of my seat with this one. It's just been lazily painted silver everywhere. I wish they could have put more detail on it. You can even see the brush strokes here and there, which is not really, I mean, the sculpt is really good, but the craftsmanship on the paint, it doesn't feel like it's gonna flake off, but it just feels like somebody just took a big paintbrush and painted it silver. Wish they could have added more detail here. Could have said Stark Industries or something. As with the War Machine, it said Hammer Industries. So a bit of a disappointment. I've not completely assembled it because I will not be displaying my figure with this on the shelf. So that's that. Going to the figure itself. The figure I like. It's got some limited articulation, but articulation in the right places. It's got a fantastic ball joint on the head, and this is again, as I said, just like in the War Machine review, this is where all the drama happens, because you can pose his head in so many ways. His shoulder armor can move up, so that you can move the shoulders in and out, forward and backward. There's a bicep swivel, there's a hinge elbow, ball jointed wrists. He's got upper torso ball joint articulation. He's got supposedly a hinge ball jointed hip, thigh swivel, hinge knee, which appears like a double jointed knee because of the plastic they put here just to complete the whole leg, even when you bend it. And it's supposed to be he's supposed to have a hinge ball jointed ankle, but it's a bit restricted and hindered because of the plating. One major issue with some reviewers is really the hips. It's very tight. It's very hard to get him or articulate him in certain poses, but if you push a little bit, you can have him in a straddle stance. And part of the reason is really the wonderful sculpting on the hips, and you've got to take some sacrifices. You can't have him too articulated because of a wonderful sculpt. You could sacrifice the great sculpt if you want more articulation, and I think Marvel Select went with the better sculpt, because I think most of their figures are really meant for display, and I personally do not fault Marvel Select for that. So there. Paint scheme, they say, seems like to rub off very easily. It doesn't rub off as easily as on mine. I mean, if you do scratch it with a knife, it will rub off, but it's pretty good on my figure, so no worries there. The other thing is the major gripe about this figure is that the faceplate is not painted. My faceplate did not come painted except gold. The eyes were also gold in the same color. They were not painted. I thought it was a quality issue. I checked other reviewers and they said the same thing. The eyes have not been painted. So, I was fine with it. It's not a problem that cannot be remedied easily. You can just bring out all your brushes and acrylics, and you can just start painting on it on your own. It's very easy to reach with a fine brush. You won't have any problems. Or you can do what I do, or what I did. I got a little bit of some chrome stickers. Well, I had a chrome sticker sheet, some leftover from our wedding invitations, and I cut out just a tiny sliver of these of sticker, and then I stuck them on the eyes, or where the eyes should have been, and they look great. They look like, well, now he has chrome eyes, and the effect I'm really going for is like when light hits it, it makes it glow, makes it shine. So you know, you can remedy it in so many ways, so it's not really a big problem. More on the faceplate, they say it does not fit properly. It fits perfectly on mine. And I think personally these reviewers who cannot plug in the mask properly is because they're not pushing it in enough. It's easy, you just push it in and it will fit. No problems whatsoever. So don't worry about the faceplate not exactly fitting. It does fit very well. Okay, now, and that's that. So I mean that's basically a lot of the most of the comments, negative comments about it. And I think, you know, that those aren't really negative comments. They're just, you know, they're just a few minor sacrifices that Marvel Select had to go through just to give us a wonderfully sculpted figure. All right, on to the features. This is probably the first feature is probably the reason why anyone would want to get this. One of the major reasons why anyone would want to get this is really the removable faceplate, which you can also plug onto his forehead and have him with his mask up. It's a good likeness to Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark head sculpt. I like it. You know, I didn't think it was going to work when I saw pictures of it, but it does work. It's very nice. So there. And you get a whole range of expression and motion on this particular head sculpt, again, as I said that. The other feature, which I think some reviewers do tend to forget, is really he's got flaps. I'm not entirely sure if these are used for braking, but they do flap. They fold out from the back. This one's a little bit loose because I popped it off by accident, and when I tried to pop it in, you know, it didn't quite fit as well as it should be. But it's very nice. When he's flying, they're probably used as brakes, but you can rotate them. They're on ball joints, and you can have, you know, you can have Iron Man with sort of wings or spikes on his back. So very nice. Not too crazy about that. One thing I will say this, you have to be very careful if you do plan on getting this figure. Be careful when you snap off the joints. I mean, snap them off from the excess paint that's gluing them together. Just be careful, because once you do so, you might just rip off too much. But when you do, when you snapped off all the joints, they do move freely, and you know, a tad bit too loose for me, which is a bit of a pain, but not entirely unforgivable. So there, I think I've covered almost all of it. The figure, in fact, I am at this point liking this figure more than the War Machine version of the Marvel Select Iron Man figures. This one has just a wonderful paint, wonderful paint applications, and just really the sculpt is more proportional than the War Machine figure. The legs don't look too big. And really what really got me going in this figure, what really convinced me to get it, is really the paint scheme. When I saw the chest plate, it had been painted wonderfully. It looked great in packaging, and the head sculpt was really a major reason for purchasing this, just to have a Tony Stark head in one of my figures was really enough for me to convince me to get this figure. So my final thoughts are really just to give this figure a chance. Don't be too quick to judge him, because I think it is one of the best that Marvel Select has ever produced. You could obviously disagree with me. You'd probably think this is just a piece of crap. But for those of you who are still on the fence about this, I highly think that you should give this figure a chance. If you're a die-hard Iron Man collector, this is the figure for you. If you're not, then you'll probably best off with the 6-inch or the 8-inch figure, which are not bad as well. But to me, this guy is pretty awesome. They are Mark 6s, I know, but you know, just as a bit of comparison, so you get the idea. Alright, so there you go. The Iron Man 2 Marvel Select Borders exclusive Mark IV armor from Diamond Select Toys. Thanks for watching.